Some doors should never be opened. But Wednesday never listened. Lightning flashes, revealing the silhouette of Nevermore Academy against a storm-filled sky. The gates creak open by themselves. The sound of crows fills the air, sharp and unsettling. The camera drifts through the corridors of Nevermore. Empty, silent, and waiting. Dust particles float in the cold moonlight that seeps through broken windows. Every step of the camera feels like trespassing into a place that has been holding its breath for too long. A typewriter sits alone on a desk, a single sheet of paper stuck inside it. One word has been written in bold black letters. Return. The keys rattle suddenly, typing one more letter by themselves. The sound is loud, unnatural, and it echoes down the hallway like a warning. The voiceover whispers, "Darkness does not disappear." It waits, patient, silent, and when it comes back, it always comes for her. We hear faint violin strings in the background, building tension. The camera tilts to show the old portraits on the walls of Nevermore Academy. Their eyes seem to follow as the lens moves. One of the portraits of family, frozen in time, has a crack running through it. The crack slowly spreads as if the building itself knows something is coming. The screen cuts to the courtyard. Wind scatters dead leaves in circles. A raven lands on the statue at the center, its wings beating heavily. Then, silence. The voiceover deepens. Something has crossed the threshold again. Something that should never return. The scene cuts sharply to Wednesday's silhouette. She stands alone in the middle of the courtyard. Her face is hidden in shadow, her braids swinging slightly in the wind. She doesn't move. She doesn't speak. But the air feels colder around her. The raven takes flight again, leaving her in complete stillness. The sound of a ticking clock returns. Faster this time, louder, uncontrollable. The camera shows shadows stretching unnaturally across the walls, crawling as if alive. The typewriter slams again, typing a second word. The voiceover warns. She thought she buried it. But the grave never stays closed. Thunder crashes. The camera cuts to a series of quick, sharp images. Nevermore's gates closing. Candles blowing out one by one, a handprint smeared across glass. A door handle rattling violently in the dark. Each sound grows heavier. Each image shorter. Each second sharper, then silence. The camera holds on a single image, a cracked mirror. The reflection shows Wednesday, but not as she is. Her reflection tilts its head differently. Its smile is wrong. And when the lightning flashes, the reflection remains even after her figure vanishes. The voiceover delivers the line with final weight. Some stories refuse to end. And Wednesday is about to discover why. The sound of the raven echoes once more. The screen cuts to black. Asterisk at first, it looks like silence. But if you listen closely, there is a low hum. A sound almost too faint to notice. It grows, like a memory forcing itself back to life. The halls of Nevermore appear again, but they are no longer empty. A chair scrapes across the floor by itself. A door creaks open just enough for shadows to slip through. The camera lingers on an old classroom. The chalkboard is covered with equations and strange sketches, but one word has been scrawled. Across the middle in jagged writing, again, the voiceover enters. Low and steady. When something is buried, it is never gone. It waits beneath the surface. Until it finds a way back. The camera cuts to an abandoned dorm room. The bed is neatly made, as though waiting for its owner. The camera zooms closer to the desk. A cracked mirror sits on it, covered in dust. But there is something wrong. The dust is disturbed. Fingers have dragged across it, drawing a circle that wasn't there before. Lightning flashes outside. For a split second, a figure is visible in the mirror. Not Wednesday. Someone or something else. And then it's gone. The violin strings return, sharper this time, mixed with faint whispers. The whispers overlap, impossible to understand, but filled with urgency. The camera drifts back into the hallway. An empty chair sits in the middle, rocking slightly as if someone has just left. The rocking slows, stops. The voiceover continues. They thought the past had been locked away. But the past has a key of its own. The gates of Nevermore rattle violently, chains clanking as if struggling to break free. The camera pushes closer to the heavy iron. Beyond the bars, fog rises from the ground, swallowing the forest outside. Something moves within the fog. The outline is human, but twisted, broken, wrong, cut to black. The sound of a heartbeat fills the silence. Slow at first, then racing. The camera reveals Wednesday's typewriter again. Another page has been pulled into place. The keys pressed down, one after another, spelling out a word. Return. The shot holds for a long, uncomfortable moment. The letters blur, as if the word itself is unstable, fading in and out of focus. Suddenly, the typewriter slams down violently, the sound echoing like a scream, cut to a slow-motion sequence. A book falling from a shelf and opening to reveal pages filled with strange runes. A candle burning backwards, its wax flowing upward instead of down. A raven flying into the night sky, but when the camera follows it, the sky is blood red instead of black. The voiceover sharpens, and when the past walks through the door, it does not come alone. The screen cuts to the courtyard again. A statue at the center is cracked now, split down the middle. A raven returns, landing on the broken stone. It screeches, but the sound is not normal. It is deeper, distorted, almost human. The camera pans slowly across the courtyard, showing shadows lengthening, stretching across the ground until they nearly reach Wednesday's feet. Her silhouette appears again, unmoving. The shadows crawl closer, circling her like hunters. For a brief second, the camera flashes an image, a pair of eyes staring directly at the screen. They are not Wednesday's, they are colder, older, filled with something unearthly. The violin screeches, cut short by silence. The typewriter page rips itself free and floats in the air. The word returned glows in faint red. The paper burns away into ash, drifting through the hallway like snow. The voiceover whispers the final words of this section. What has returned is not the same as before. The ashes fade into the black screen. Only the faint sound of the ticking clock remains, each tick sharper than the last. Asterisk. The screen bursts open with the sound of thunder. No calm introduction, this time only chaos. The courtyard is no longer silent. The trees shake violently, though there is no wind. Doors slam shut one by one, as if something unseen is moving through the academy. Closing every escape, the voiceover enters, darker than before. Darkness does not wait in shadows anymore. This time, it walks in plain sight. The camera cuts to a dorm hallway. A row of candles flickers. One by one, each flame snuffs out until only a single candle remains. The shadows along the walls stretch unnaturally, twisting into claw-like shapes. The final candle explodes in a puff of black smoke. Quick cuts begin, jarring and relentless. Students running through the forest, their faces blurred, their screams swallowed by the night. A heavy wooden door shaking under violent pounding from the other side. A clock striking midnight except the hands are spinning backwards. A raven's feathers falling, but when they hit the ground, they shatter like glass. The heartbeat returns, louder. Pulsing in rhythm with the cuts, the voiceover continues. Nevermore has survived curses, secrets, and monsters. But this is different. This is not a visitor. This is an invader. The camera shows the library. Books fly off shelves, torn open by invisible hands. Pages scatter, spinning in circles in the air. On one page, the words "Do not speak its name" are underlined in deep black ink. The ink drips down the page like blood. Cut to the mirror again. But this time, the reflection is alive. It moves before the camera does, watching, waiting. A cold breath fogs the glass, but there is no one standing in front of it. The fog shapes itself into a handprint, pressing from the other side. Suddenly, the ground splits in the courtyard. Cracks spread outward like veins. From the opening, a blinding white light erupts, only to vanish just as quickly. The crack closes, but the stone statue at the center is destroyed. Lying in pieces, the violin screeches violently now. Broken, almost painful to hear. The voiceover whispers. Slower this time, almost like a warning meant for one person only. The shadows are not hunting her anymore. They are hunting everyone. A sharp cut. Wednesday's silhouette again. She stands at the top of the stairs inside Nevermore. Behind her, a door slowly opens, spilling out black smoke that curls across the floor. She does not turn around. She does not move. Her stillness is the most unsettling part. The soundscape intensifies. Whispers overlap with screams. Footsteps pound in every direction. The heartbeat is frantic now, rapid montage, a candle melting in seconds until nothing remains. A student's notebook opening by itself, the pages filling with writing no hand touches. An iron gate slamming shut so hard it bends inward. The forest at night, trees uprooting themselves and twisting as if alive. The screen glitches with static for a second, breaking the flow, then snaps back. The typewriter returns, louder than ever. It slams down letters. It's here. The camera lingers on the words, the sound echoing like a hammer strike. The paper is yanked out and torn to shreds by invisible claws. The shreds fly past the screen like blades. The voiceover rises. This darkness has no face, no mercy, no limits. It does not knock. It breaks the door down. The raven appears one last time in this section. But its wings are broken, dragging across the ground as it tries to move. Its eyes glow faintly, not with life but with possession. The camera cuts back to Wednesday's silhouette. This time, her head tilts slightly, just enough to catch the light. Her eyes are faintly visible, sharp, unblinking. Colder than before, the screen cuts to black with a single slam, as though the door to Nevermore itself has been shut tight. Silence. Then, the faint whisper of a child's voice, barely audible. Run, asterisk, the screen opens on silence. Not the comfortable kind, an unnatural silence, heavy and suffocating. The camera moves slowly through the broken halls of Nevermore. Everything is frozen. The desks in classrooms, the books in the library, the trees outside. Time itself feels trapped. And then, a sound, clack, a single typewriter key presses down in the dark. The camera zooms closer, the letter revealed, R. Another key slams, E. The rhythm continues, mechanical, inevitable. T-A-K-E. The word stares back, taken, the voiceover enters. Sharper now, but calm in its menace. She has always written her own story. But this time, the story is writing itself. The screen flashes, Wednesday's silhouette walking through the courtyard. This time, the ground beneath her feet is cracked and bleeding light, as if Nevermore itself is alive and wounded. The raven circles overhead, its shadow stretching long and thin. The violin returns soft, trembling, almost mournful. Quick cuts strike like lightning, a door bursting open to reveal only darkness inside. A hand gripping the edge of a coffin, forcing it open from within. A student's scream cut short as the screen fades to black. Wednesday's typewriter, pages flipping violently, dozens of sheets filling with words that cannot be read. The heartbeat returns, steady, strong. Not fear defiance, the voiceover continues. Something has come back to Nevermore. But it is not alone. It brings hunger. It brings rage. And it brings a promise. No one leaves unchanged. The screen shows the forest under a blood-red moon. Trees twist into unnatural shapes, roots tearing out of the soil. Shadows gather like soldiers, forming rows that march toward the academy. Their shapes are blurred, faceless, endless, cut to a close-up of Wednesday's hand on the typewriter. She types a single word, return. The sound echoes like thunder. The letters glow faintly on the page. She stops, then presses one final key. The word becomes returned. The camera pulls back. She is sitting alone in a room filled with candles. Every flame flickers wildly, bending toward her as though drawn to something she carries inside. She looks down at the page, her face still hidden, but her shadow stretches unnaturally large across the wall. Moving differently from her. The voiceover whispers, almost gentle, Wednesday Addams is not running. She is waiting, a sudden crash of sound, doors slamming, windows shattering, thunder rolling. The montage quickens. A raven feather burns to ash in slow motion. A cracked mirror shatters completely, revealing only blackness behind it. A hand bursts from the soil of the courtyard, fingers clawing upward. The iron gates of Nevermore swing open by themselves. Chains falling loose, the violin reaches its highest pitch, screaming against the silence. Then everything cuts to black. One last whisper. Not everyone belongs at Nevermore. But everyone returns. The title card fades in. Slow and deliberate. Wednesday Season 3 coming soon. An ETFLIX. The violin cuts off. Silence. And then a final sting. The sound of a typewriter key slamming one last time. The page reveals a single word in bold black ink. You?